Okay, so in honor of the MLB season drawing to a close and my Detroit Tigers staving off what appeared to be the inevitable historic collapse that anyone had ever seen in Major League Baseball, finally making it into the playoffs on the next to last day of the season, I wanted to do a quick video. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins frontman, a.k.a. Billy Pumpkin. You might know he's a Chicago guy. He's very outspoken about his Chicago-ness. You know, I think he's a big Bulls fan. And I thought he was a Chicago Cub fan because I noted on an earlier video when he had Paul Stanley on his Magnificent Others podcast that he's got this little baseball statue of the Chicago Cubs with the logo on it that I commented on. I thought that was pretty cool, dude. If he's a Cub fan, you know, so Billy Pumpkin, Windy City guy. That's why recently when I came across this video, I don't know how I saw it. You know, I've done some Corgan videos, so maybe it was on my radar. But I saw this. I was kind of taken aback. I know Corgan's a baseball guy, but for some reason, based on what I had seen with that Stanley interview and that Cubs ball, I just assumed, you know, he was a loyal Cubs fan, you know, Cub fan, Bud man, like Harry Carey used to say back in the day. But I was kind of surprised. I came across this little TikTok video he did talking about the birthmark that he has on his hand. I don't really care about that. But the thing I noticed is he's actually wearing a Detroit Tigers New Era cap. Now, if you see, he's wearing an orange cap with the Detroit Tiger logo on it. Now, they have actually released a couple versions of this hat, at least. I actually own this same hat. I own the blue version. He's got the orange version on. They actually made a blue version of this same hat with that Detroit Tiger, I guess you'd call it, I don't know, primary or alternate logo. It's basically the Detroit Tigers head. It's the one they've been using since 2000 when they moved into Comerica Park. So I'm kind of wondering, I know he's a baseball guy, but as a Chicago thug, Chicago, I don't know what I was going to say, Chicago Fugs? Chicago Cubs fan, why would you, now as a Detroit Tiger fan, I would not be seen rocking the cap of any other team. That's just the way I am. You know, Detroit, gotta rep the D. Detroit Tigers fan. I'm not going to be making videos where I'm wearing, you know, a White Sox hat or something like that. But he's wearing a Detroit Tigers hat. So if you're a Cub fan, I just don't get it. Maybe he liked the hat, which is fine. Maybe, you know, he liked the orange color. Maybe he liked, it was a pumpkin orange. Maybe he felt it made his head look like a pumpkin or something. Or maybe he just liked the logo. I don't know. But as a Tigers fan, I know that I don't go out and about, especially in a public forum, outspoken about my fandom for the Detroit Tigers, rocking somebody else's hat. Now, I know there are baseball fans out there who, you know, they like to collect jerseys. They like to collect memorabilia. And they'll wear different jerseys in spite of whatever particular team that they root for. Or maybe, you know, Pumpkin, maybe this came out, I guess, in February of this year. Maybe Pumpkin got caught up in that Tigers late season run last year when they made that big playoff push from being a 0.2% chance of making the postseason to getting in. Maybe he got caught up in that run, and maybe he became a fan at that point. And maybe they're kind of like a secondary team of his, you know, kind of like here in Detroit for years when the Lions sucked. Now that they're doing good now, but back in the day, a lot of Detroit Lions fans had what you'd call a B team because they knew every year the Lions were going to suck. So they had a B team that they could root for in the NFL. I was never into that. I'm always Detroit or bust. You know, I could really give a rat's ass if, you know, the Tigers suck or the Lions suck or the Red Wings suck. I don't really have any B teams. I just kind of lose interest. I just kind of root for the games to be good. I just thought it was interesting for Billy Pumpkin, an outspoken Chicago guy, to be rocking a Detroit Tigers hat. And I think I even saw a picture of him with one of his sons rocking a Pittsburgh Pirates cap or something, which seemed interesting to me. You know, the Cubs, Central Division rivals. That I know, I understand when you're a father, you support your kids, you know, you want to be supportive of their interests. But I would think maybe as a dad, you know, he might try to get the kid to root for the Cubs. I don't know. Maybe he's not a Cubs fan. I don't know. Maybe he's just a baseball fan, or maybe he's a casual Cubs fan, and it's not a big deal to him to be seen rocking somebody else's gear, or maybe he just likes the hat, which is fine. I just found it interesting because I know Corgan's a Chicago guy. I know he likes the Bulls. He was friends with Dennis Rodman, who played in Detroit before he played for the Bulls. You might know he was one of the bad boys. But, yeah, so I thought it was interesting. And, you know, hey, Billy, if you want on board, if you want to be a part of Tiger Nation, you're welcome to do so, man. Come on out to Comerica Park. We got a lot of celebrity fans. J.K. Rowling's the actor, big fan. Tom Selleck, of course, used to rock the Old English tea, a Magnum PI as well. You might know Jack White from the White Stripes, big Tigers fan. I think he has his own suite. So maybe Pumpkin could come out to Comerica Park maybe during the postseason if the Tigers get any home games. Root for the team. He could sit with Jack White in the suite, and, you know, they could, you know, maybe share their secrets of how they achieve their shitty guitar sound. No, I actually like Jack White. I don't agree with his politics. I actually saw the White Stripes. I think it was 2004 at the Masonic Temple down here. He put on a great show. It was just him and his drummer, Meg White, with the White Stripes. It was actually a really great show. I mean, the guy's great at what he does. I haven't really followed him since the White Stripes split up, but that's kind of it, man. You know, as a loyal baseball fans, I know maybe it's kind of messed up in the head. Sports fan, to the non-sports fan, probably thinks it's ludicrous that I would make a deal out of this. I just thought it was interesting. And hey, I'm flattered that Billy Pumpkin, a Chicago guy, would be repping the D for whatever his motivations are. If he just likes the gear, or maybe he's a fan of the Tigers since they're in a different league, which really doesn't matter anymore with interleague play now. But it's all good, man. Anytime I see somebody in the public eye rocking the Detroit Tigers logo, the Old English D, kind of, you know, I always makes my, naughty bits a bit firm, if they would say that somewhere in the UK. I don't know, but I always dig it whenever I see the Tigers or anything Detroit anywhere. But that's the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it much ado about nothing? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But we'll see you next time.
Here.